Hi! So this week I said I was going to start reading some scary stories. So we're going to start with one of my first scary stories that I've written, called An Unknown Place. I wrote this story when I was 13. It scared my teacher. It scared my mum's teacher. It scared my mother. It did not scare me. One time I did attempt to write a prequel to this, but I couldn't quite get the same vibes, so the prequel was scrapped and I never went to it again. So I'm going to start reading it. Content warnings for beheading, ghosts, possession, and some slight racism. I was either 12 or 13 when I wrote this, so bear in mind some slight racism there. So here we go. It was dark. So dark, in fact, that I couldn't even see where I was going. I don't remember how I got here. Suddenly, I felt something sharp jab at my back. My clothes were torn and dirty. My hair was rough and tangled. Rip? My shirt ripped from that sharp object. I turned and felt for the object. It felt like a piece of sharp metal. Is this what it feels like to be blind? I kept feeling around in front of me so I wouldn't get hurt. Soon, I felt tired. I looked around for something to use as a bed. I laid 5 ragged cloths that I found on the shelves on the floor. Then I found a ripped quilt and lay on the makeshift bed. I closed my eyes and fell asleep. As I was sleeping, I dreamt of happiness and joy. I was jolted awake by a disturbing creak. I opened my eyes and squinted through the darkness. I thought I saw a door, but couldn't quite see beyond the bright sunlight coming from the opening. I could only make out one tall figure holding something in his hand. He walked up to me. The door slammed shut behind him, flooding the room into darkness once more. He was holding a torch and told me that my breakfast was here. I glanced at the torch. The man gave me what seemed like my breakfast. I felt for its shape. It was conical in shape and felt like frozen carrots. The man, I still don't know his name, told me to eat small bites, seeing as I'd only be here a while. What did that mean? Did that mean I was going home? That was when I saw the figure at the door. The figure that looked like an executioner. He gestured for the man to come to him. As he passed me, he whispered, "Good luck," in a monotone voice. What did that mean? The two figures talked for a while. I couldn't hear the full conversation, but I heard snippets of it. The men seemed to have faint accents. She'd better brush her hair if she wants to be in my head hole. Are you sure she's good enough? It's no use kidnapping her if you don't want a Eurasian in your collection. By all the Greeks, she'll be perfect. She'll add colour to the room. We'll do the chopping first thing tomorrow morning for 8,000 euro. So I went to sleep that night, almost scared to death about what was going to happen tomorrow. The morning greeted me with terror. I was in the execution lounge with a noose around my neck. The noose was rough, and I knew lots of other people had been hanged before. My neck was bare, so the coarseness of the rope scratched at the flesh. The executioner suddenly appeared before the crowd, declaring, "I have before you the newest addition to my collection." Then, lifting the axe the way a weightlifting champion lifts a dumbbell, he chopped off my head. Suddenly, I was floating above my own body. I saw the executioner holding my head. I decided to follow him and see where he was going. He went straight through an open door and closed the door. To my surprise, I glided right through the door. The executioner went left. Then he turned right. He glanced over his shoulder and went through a golden door. I glided through the door after him. What I saw horrified me. I saw 100 to 150 heads, either screaming or sleeping, nailed onto the walls. The heads that were screaming had what looked like lights in their eyes. The executioner nailed my head to a place in the hall with a tag that was labeled Eurasian. Haha! I had now finished my collection. So that was what he was doing. I went a little bit closer and closer until I got sucked into his body. I made him take all the heads down and put them in a basket. Then I made him put all the heads in the graves of the people. After he put the last head in, my head still hadn't been put in the grave yet. But that was when the good luck happened. The executioner fell into an empty hole in the ground, and my soul and body were freed. I floated back into my body and came alive again. It was dark. So dark, in fact, that I couldn't even see where I was going. I felt something sharp jab at my back. My clothes were torn and dirty. My hair was rough and tangled. Rip! My shirt ripped from that sharp object. I turned and felt for the item. It felt like sharp metal.